Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs, symbols, and storylines of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct movies from the 90s to break down the symbolism so that we're not deceived. Before Jesus ascended to the right hand of the Father, his disciples asked him what would be the signs and symbols of his return. Jesus' response was to tell them not to be deceived. Ironically enough, today, we are deconstructing marital spy thriller True Lies. Straight out of 1994, IMDb gives it 7.3 stars out of 10, and the Video Movie Guide gives it a higher than average 4 stars out of 5. Also, peep my new wig. Maybe you wonder, or maybe you don't, why I wear wigs. The reason is because it's a covering for me. I'm not a Jew, obviously. I don't think it's required for me necessarily in the day-to-day. I am covered by the blood of Jesus, and I also have a covering on my spouse. But in this setting, I like to have a head covering to show you who's watching that while everything I say is my opinion, my interpretation of the movies that I watch through the Bible that I read and the way I understand it, they are just movies at the end of the day. My understanding is covered by the blood of Jesus, and it's fun. Secret agent Arnold Schwarzenegger is content to pose as a dull computer salesman until he discovers that wife Jamie Lee Curtis is being conned by a randy car salesman posing as a spy. So Schwarzenegger decides to give Curtis a taste of the real thing, and soon the two of them are attempting to stop an Arab terrorist who has become a nuclear power unto himself. Thrill-packed, special effects-laden spy adventure is almost too much of a good thing, as director James Cameron throws in every eye-popping scene he can think of. Oddly, it's the little touches like Tom Arnold's consistently funny turn as Schwarzenegger's partner that make it work. Rated R. Boy, they really said a lot here. This movie was released the same year as Junior, which is another movie I've reviewed on the channel. Quite a different character for the big guy, so let's get into it. And the movie opens, like so many spy movies from the 90s, in the Swiss Alps at night, at a multinational, highly guarded, massively funded soiree. And we meet Harry Tasker, the secret agent intent on crashing the party, coming up out of the icy water. We meet Harry's partner in the van, funny man Albert Gibson, but everyone calls him Gib. Once in the party, Harry carries out his mission easily. And so far we've heard people speaking German, French, Arabic, and English. The party host is Khaled, the target of the reconnaissance, but the villain is actually the femme fatale Juno Skinner.
Juno Skinner.
Her name is that of the Roman deity Queen of Heaven, who is also called Ishtar, Inanna, Hera, and Mary. In Roman theology, she was the daughter of Saturn and the sister and wife to Jupiter. Harry and Juno take to the dance floor in a sexy tango so he can evade capture because his cover's been blown. In the van with Gib is the tech guy, Faisal, and in the most delicious 90s fashion, hackers be like I'm in.
I'm in. I'm down, baby.
An exciting chase ensues, and our hero hauls us out of there, his recon mission complete, and the trio fly commercial back to DC. The District of Columbia is one of 3 city-state corporations alongside the City of London and the Vatican City. Houses the residence of the sitting U.S. president and also numerous monuments to former presidents. It also acts as the world center for all military, political, and Secret Service agencies. Anyway, once at home, we meet Harry's daughter, Dana, who will one day wow audiences with her cheerleading skills. But until then, she holds what might be the ugliest dog I've ever seen in a movie. As we know, dog is the occultic law of reversal, so the view of God here is small, strange, temperamental, and difficult to love, frankly. Then we meet Helen, Harry's plain, unseen, and unheard wife.
I slept with him and he said he'd knock off $100.
That's good thinking. Bye, honey.
So Harry isn't just distracted by his job. He actually seems downright giddy to be lying to his family about himself.
Cassie, so I love computer business.
Gib shows up there like he lives there too. Harry quickly learns that his only daughter isn't a good little girl.
Dana! She's ripping you off.
We are then shown which agency Harry and Gib are agents of, and it's a made-up organization called Omega Sector. Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. Jesus is actually known as the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Now, this 13-year-old teen clerk had no idea who Charlton Heston was when this movie came out. A giant in Babylon, let's be honest, especially when it comes to biblical epics. And now he's out here giving Nick Fury as the director of the invented Omega Sector. Faisal has already, since last night, compiled the digital information they took from Khaled's computer at the party, but none of it impresses White Fury.
Perhaps you better get some before somebody parks an automobile in front of the White House with a nuclear weapon in the trunk.
Is that priming? We're talking about nuclear terrorism on American soil, like another Cold War? Harry goes to see art dealer Juno, a known associate now with a connection to Harry already. They shared a dance after all.
See, most of our pieces come from ancient Persia. Unfortunately, ancient Persia sits 20 feet under the sand of Iran, Iraq, and Syria.
These three nations in particular, along with Turkey and Saudi Arabia, have long been unpopular amidst the developed nations, so-called. They have always resisted a Rothschild central banking system, papal rule, and joining the United Nations. They are resource and people-rich nations, and their father Abraham begat Ishmael, who was blessed by Yahweh to be a great nation. Juno is not the villain in charge, though, we learn. It is rather the supervillain, Salim Abu Aziz, who is behind all the treachery. His name means servant of Yahweh. So apparently it's Harry's birthday, maybe a milestone. It's not a very big party, but he never stops working long enough anyway. As his alias, Harry Rehnquist, he travels internationally, is multilingual, and woos exotic and sexy art dealers. But as Harry Tasker, he must lie to his wife and daughter every day in every interaction they have. I mean, is it really even his birthday?
Well, you know Harry and...
Yeah, Gib. I know Harry.
No, you don't know Harry. You know a fabricated alias. Harry takes on more than one bad guy in a bathroom fight scene that has Michael Bay seething with jealousy that he didn't come up with the idea. And Arnold really plays up this stoic warrior he made famous as the Terminator.
Here, cool off.
The pursuit and engagement of Aziz continues in very public and creative ways, but he manages to evade capture this time.
I mean, I had the guy, and you let him get away.
Then the team learns the identity of their main baddie.
Salim Abu Aziz.
So this all coincides with Harry deciding to make an effort with Helen after disappointing her and their constant time apart. He's not about to tell her the truth, but rather just smooth things over, as maybe he's done in the past. Rather than smooth things over, he discovers Helen's own espionage and secrets she's keeping from him.
Helen is having an affair.
I mean, for a secret agent, he's not very observant. He's had to lie to the woman he took vows to every day of their marriage.
What'd you expect, Harry?
Harry Rehnquist then takes over on recon on Helen. When he reads the transcript of her unlawfully tapped phone calls, he identifies an alleged other man, which sends Harry into a jealous rage. Gib does what he can to talk some sense into his normally stoic partner, but otherwise enables and often excuses the behavior. Then we meet Simon, the other man who's captivated Helen's attentions and affections.
The guy's a spook.
So Simon is pretending to be a spy, like Harry is pretending not to be a spy. And Simon is even taking credit for Harry's ops.
The guy is a goddamn used car salesman.
But he's really a slimy salesman who tries to sell more than cars, even more than himself. Simon is in the business of selling dreams, and he spills his plan to the boring husband. Harry continues to misappropriate federal resources to catch his wife in an unfaithful act and threatens his partner by blackmailing him.
You telling me, I telling you.
These are federal agents, folks. They're telling us. When they bring Helen in for questioning, they lead her in a ruse about Simon, and she tells them what she knows.
He said he needed my help.
And she also shares how she feels.
I just wanted to do something outrageous.
Not lonely, not abandoned or neglected, just bored. So Harry decides to give her the excitement she craves, and not the truth yet. The misappropriating duo continue with their charade and scare poor pathetic Simon.
Would a spy pee himself, huh?
And the fun and games continue, and Harry and Gib lure Helen to a hotel room for a mission. Harry continues to conceal his identity to his wife as she gets the excitement she's been seeking with Simon, and gives Harry a show neither of them knew she was capable of. He eventually has no choice but to reveal himself as her husband, and they are violently interrupted by the real terrorists before he can explain what's going on. The taskers are brought to the villain's lair to have the plan laid out for them, as villains do.
I call them the Four Horsemen.
So the four horsemen of the apocalypse are written of in the Bible, specifically in Revelation chapter 6. But I actually think we're looking at four Trojan horses here because they're really hiding something inside. I mean, are we really supposed to believe these statues that were buried 2,500 years ago with nuclear missiles inside them? Helen then must learn the whole truth about Harry, and she takes it about as well as children learning that Santa isn't real.
You don't ever get to call me out of your can't you understand?
The group at the helm of the terror calls themselves Crimson Jihad, and they claim to be after peace in the Persian Gulf.
America pulls all military forces out of the Persian Gulf area immediately and forever.
The Gulf War ended before this movie was released, officially ending early in 91. Are they saying that isn't the case? That America left troops there? Or is it simply delayed retaliation? The Omega Sector are quickly on the case to track Harry, Helen, and the terrorists that took them. I mean, I probably can't say terrorists this much on YouTube.
You know you should swap that with alcohol. I might get an infection.
Anyone else getting major Fauci vibes from this creepy doctor? Juno reveals she's only in the game for the money, so her connections and confidence can be bought by the highest bidder.
What, you think I care about their cause? Or yours?
The truth serum takes effect for Harry, but it doesn't really impair him the way they portray, because the two easily bust out of their captivity, only to be met with gunfire outside. Of course, Harry means to stop Salim Abu Aziz from terrorizing the nation with nuclear weapons, because we all know that the American government does not negotiate with terrorists.
There's nothing to stop them.
Just us.
Actually, it sounds like the government could easily stop them by withdrawing from their waters, which is their only demand. But a lot more gunfire ensues because it's a Michael Bay film. I mean, James Cameron. Harry is believed to be dead, and Helen is taken as a hostage, probably to be killed at a later time. But Harry resurrects from the dark waters and does everything in his authority to save Helen and stop the Persians from carrying out their plan.
Come on, baby.
Just when we think it's over and Harry has won the day, the plot thickens.
Harry, they get a hostage. It's Dana.
Their teenage daughter that has been left alone since the night before in a different state. Nice parenting. Harry goes off the rails again and commandeers a friggin' jet to save his daughter. Dana fights back against her captors, not trusting that anyone can save her.
Help me! Somebody!
Then a shootout in the skies over Miami, leading to this ridiculous and unbelievable fight. Harry ends the threat once and for all, and all are saved. Then 1 year later, and Boris and Doris are still active operatives.
Boris and Doris?
We're on.
Has Helen made a career change at this point? Yet they still see fit to put their daughter in danger by neglecting her, but at least they get to tango. Well, that was fun, I guess. No, it was. I forgot how funny Tom Arnold is in this. Okay, let's get into the symbolism. The signs here are definitely more obscure, and we need to delve into the numerology side a little bit to get the full picture of what we're seeing. The main couple here are Harry and Helen. H and H. H is the 8th letter of the English alphabet, so together they are 8-8. This is a reference to time passing, time travel, or time manipulation, because the sun and moon both make an 8 in the sky in their courses, the analemma. Not to mention that 8 turned on its side is time eternal, or infinity. Also the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail. Since we didn't see any reference to time travel or time manipulation here, I can assume that H and H are a reference to the sun and moon. Now, typically the sun is male and the moon is female in their representations, but here it seems like Harry is the moon. He conceals his deeds under guise and disguise. His mood is temperamental. His passions wax and wane. Helen is the sun. She is the constant. The two are ever in their courses and rarely do their paths cross. But when they finally do, it causes a massive eclipse or explosion. Juno, as I mentioned, is also involved in these Star Wars as the daughter of Saturn, also called Satan. The Queen of Heaven has long been worshipped as Mary by the Roman Catholics, but as an ally to the Arabs with her Roman name and Trojan horses, that's all she is. A pawn in the game who makes money her god. And that's what's underlying, but what's on the surface. We are shown a lighthearted and even funny ways blatant misappropriation of federal resources for a personal vendetta of an unqualified agent. Misogyny and the celebration of the downfall of the marriage within the agency due to the double life the agents are required to lead. Potentially Secret Service agents at work, overseas, and on home soil without the public's knowledge. Only what the legacy media will tell us. And those are the good guys. The villains here are heartless Arabian terrorists who desire to live in a peaceful nation away from the Western influence they have resisted for millennia, and they mean to have it by violence if necessary. This narrative of the Persian nations being an enemy to the West is long and will never go away. It's biblical, I'm afraid. They will never come under the authority of the West. They will defend their land and their people unto death. And they believe they are righteous in doing so. They aren't, but neither should innocent people be at risk in political wars. True lies itself is an oxymoron. Truth cannot be a lie, but a lie can contain the truth. It's almost a description of the main theme of Hollywood Babylon. They are telling us truths about the world, the evil elites, even truths about God sometimes, but it is packaged in a lie. It's a cinematic experience with paid hypocrites taking all the major roles, telling us what they have done, what they are doing, and what they will do, priming, programming, and predicting. Believe the truths they are telling us, but don't be deceived by the packaged lies. I'm praying for your discernment and mine to continue to grow in this way. Thank you for watching to the end. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it and a thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe if you want to, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until the next one, keep looking up.
I'm sick of being in the van. You guys gonna be in the van next time.